Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. So glad you're here. And of course, subscribe, like the channel, because we have great content. You want to share this with your friends too, because there's really good, helpful nuggets here to apply in your life. And of course, the jokes, I'm trying to get them over with early, so then everything's up from there. So here's today's joke. I heard about this guy. He proposed to his girlfriend, but the dog ate the ring. And so now it's a diamond in the rough. Like, that's so stupid. I know. That's the whole point, is you start bad, and then everything goes up from there. It's kind of an upgrade from the low point. So we're going to finish our series today, Resurrection Essentials. And, you know, we think about resurrection like with Easter, right? Back in April, March sometimes. That's oftentimes, you know, it's kind of the season. We think about Jesus' birth at Christmas, think about Thanksgiving in November, and we have these seasonal things that, oh yeah. But I want us to consider resurrection as being more than just a season or a Sunday, but rather something that's integral to our living, to our existence. And so we've talked about a couple of things that are important. Resurrection essentials. You have to have death before you can have a resurrection. You need to be selective with your resurrection. You need to recognize resurrection. You need to sustain resurrection. These are all things we've talked about in the last couple of weeks. But today I want to finish with this idea that there's pervasive resurrection. You're like, what do you mean by pervasive? Well, another word for pervasive could be maybe contagious. Could resurrection be contagious? And I just want you to think about that for a little minute. Maybe leave a comment. Could resurrection, if you think about, I have a doctor friend who lives next door to me, and I was thinking about, you know, if you have death can be contagious. You know, necrosis. You have flesh-eating disease, and death can be pervasive and contagious. But I want to think about as well life, resurrection. Let's consider that life, resurrection, can be contagious, can expand, can grow, can catch. If you can catch a cold, let's think about catching resurrection. And let's think about letting resurrection be pervasive in our lives. So, and I bring this to your attention in Matthew. It's a really weird verse, just to be honest. Two weird verses. Matthew 27, verses 52 to 53. And this is after Jesus rose from the dead. And it says, the tombs were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised, coming out of their tombs after Jesus' resurrection. They entered the holy city, Jerusalem, and appeared to many. So when Jesus was raised from the dead, other people were raised from the dead. And you're like, I don't get that. I don't either, just to be super honest with you. Matthew 27, verses 52 to 53, it's in there. But I want to just bring to your attention that Jesus rose from the dead. And I believe that his resurrection was contagious for other people who were dead. And so I want you to think about that in terms of your life, and thinking about, I think we oftentimes think in compartments and little sections. So this part got resurrected. God did a miracle in my finances. God did maybe a health issue, or, you know, you got accepted into a job or school. God did this. What seemed to be dead here, God brought a miracle, brought resurrection. But would we consider the possibility that God might want to spread resurrection to other areas of your life? Well, if God can do it here, then God can do it here. What's dead, what was paralyzed, what was no life in it, lifeless, God brought back to life. So then let's think about, what if God, when God breathed into man, he became a living being? It's like the Holy Spirit breathed into Adam, and all that clay and all of the mud suddenly became resurrected, became life, became vibrant, animated, literally. So I want us to consider that when we breathe in the life of God, the breath of God, that's contagious, pervasive, and it can spread to other areas in our lives. And it can spread in our finance, it can spread in our health, it can spread in our relationships, it can spread in our job, in our school, in favor, in opportunity. That life has a life of itself and can engage and create life in other areas as well. It can be contagious. If you can catch a cold, then let's also catch life. So as you think about this, I'd like for you to right there in the comments there, what area needs to have life? If you've had an area in your life that has had a miracle or resurrection, then what would you like to put next to that area to catch, right? So that the resurrection, the miracle, it spreads, it's contagious. What would you like to put next to an area that needs to be resurrected? You're like, And maybe it's also a consideration what has risen, what has been a miracle, what miracle have you received? And evaluating that along with, okay, well, let's get these two areas together, or let's bleed from the life, from the miracle, into what seems to be dead. Pervasive, contagious. If you had all these people walking around Jerusalem after Jesus rose from the dead, they rose from the dead, it helps us to consider that things in our life can catch resurrection, and it can spread every bit as much as a resurrection brought something to life. So thank you for subscribing. Hit the notification bell right there. That'll keep you posted when we put up new content. And we're going to have a fantastic series starting next week. So again, thanks for watching, subscribing, listening, and sharing this with your friends. Have a great week.